Listen to me. If there was a wise man who would ever think of this, they would say in order to be superior to the man, you've got to be the man. For I am the man himself.
Once again, and how you guys all doing tonight? This is probably take 2 or take 3 of this, take 4, whatever it is. It's been one of those weeks, guys, but I am here finally. This is the Club of the Man 1993, catching up on some content. I apologize that I am very behind on content, behind on reviews this week, as it's Friday night, and SmackDown actually just started a couple minutes ago. And I'm only recording my Raw review right now. Ah, man. But, yeah, it was just one of those weeks, guys. Work was a little overwhelming, kind of nuts. Had our systems down also, so technical difficulties that set us behind. I had to come home most nights to also start prepping my house for company coming over this weekend. So I didn't really have much time to sit down and just chill, as I, occasionally like to have throughout the week. But last night I was going to record this, but it got very late, and instead of recording this, I recorded another level of my Spear of Destiny Ultimate Challenge Let's Play. May try to upload that level tonight, not sure yet, but we'll see. I still got to convert the file on it as well. But I'm also hoping to get caught up on WWE content tonight. I have my Raw review right now. SmackDown again just started 10 minutes ago. I may try to get that review in tonight. And I also have a turn alert to do as well from Raw that I still got to make the graphics for, which hopefully shouldn't take too long, really. So maybe I can get all that tonight done. Who knows? I almost did this review live. I really wanted to do my Raw review live again because I thought it wasn't quite as good as last week's show. But I still thought Raw was a fire episode again this week. It didn't have that little, punch to it like it did with the debut of the Wyatt 6 from last week's episode, but it was still another outstanding episode. Again, Raw is on fire right now. The matches, are good. No really 5-star classics right now. The storytelling though right now is just off the charts outstanding. It's like the simplest little things they're taking right now and just telling these simple stories that have a beginning and an end. It's like watching a movie or watching a mystery type series, and there is something that gets set at the beginning. And you want to wonder what's gonna happen. What's the reason? What's the comeuppance and whatnot and everything. There are purposes to these feuds, and I love it. Like the stuff going on with the Judgment Day especially is outstanding right now. Chad Gable's new group, American Made. I really like them. The Wyatt 6, we got another promo with Bo Dallas this week. Kind of more so just it was kind of more of a reflection of Bo Dallas, the fallout from their first match. Just hoping they made his brother happy, which I think it's next Saturday, actually, from what I remember. I think it's going to be 1 year for Bray next Saturday. Oh my. That might be a day, since I'm still getting stuff caught up on the social media pages, that might be a day where I share a couple of my Bray Wyatt shorts. Really only 2 on the Instagram and Twitter page. But yeah, already almost a whole year for Bray Wyatt. Jeez. I still remember that night too. But yeah, anyways, let's talk about Raw. Again, Raw is just on fire, like I said. It's out of the 3 shows I watch for wrestling on a weekly basis right now, this is definitely my favorite. SmackDown, again, I keep saying, SmackDown, the problem I have with it is, again, there's just a lot of people that just still haven't quite found their groove again. And it's lacking in storytelling. And then it's it's not bad. It's just, you watch Raw and compare it to SmackDown, it's like, man, why can't we do some of the storytelling development on SmackDown besides just the bloodline? The stuff, of course, with Cody Rhodes and Kevin Owens could be something. We'll talk about that if we get to SmackDown tonight. We have LA Knight being U.S. champion, but he's going to be fighting Santos Escobar, which, again, nothing against Santos. It's just, even right now, he's not really interesting me right now, if I'm being honest. The women, I guess the stuff with Tiffany Stratton with Miss Money in the Bank is something as well. But, you know, honestly, the weakest thing on Raw right now, I still gotta say, is whatever's going on with Damage Control and Sonya Deville's faction, which got a name put onto this show. They actually named their stable. We'll get to it. But we got that. Bronson Reed, for crying out loud, has caught fire the past couple weeks. And even this feud with Sheamus and Pete Dunne got some interest. And Pete Dunne even said, "Don't call me Butch." I love that he mentioned how much he hated that name, because we all hated that name. What Vince McMahon turned him into when they brought him up. Dear Lord. But we could be heading back to the Bruiserweight, it looks like. And I'm excited for that. And I'm excited for all this. And of course, also the main event for Bash in Berlin, most likely, Gunther and Randy Orton. Should also be another outstanding match as well. And we, of course, got some more with Drew McIntyre and CM Punk. So, yeah, again, a lot going on. Let's talk about it, though, because, again, I got a lot of stuff I want to get done tonight, hopefully, video-wise, and one or two things around the house. But I do want to get rolling. So, again, this should be a quality review, but not quite as... I'm not going to talk as long as I would like to. If I was live, I would definitely be going on for a while on this one. But we'll talk about that. We'll roll into it. So we were live from Austin, Texas. I never got to see Austin, because I've only been to Texas one time when my sister briefly lived in Corpus Christi. Been to San Antonio, it's nice. Never got to Austin, though. She always praised how great Austin, Texas, though, was. So last week, we got Damian Priest basically getting his storyline further on. Got the explanation from Finn Balor and whatnot. This week, it was Rhea's turn to have that happen. So she comes out to open up the show, and she's reliving everything that happened at SummerSlam. But although she experienced all embarrassment and heartbreak, she is pissed off. And she says Dom stabbed her in the back, but he's probably heard this before. It just wasn't deep enough. Could be saying other things aren't quite deep enough. But anyways, before I start going down that path. She also mentioned how Liv Morgan ran away with her title, but Liv can't run forever. And of course, you know, she's going to get in her hands on her, blah, blah, blah. And then we also hear Liv's voice, and her and Dom are in the crowd. Dom then starts talking, saying that he claims that Rhea tried to change him instead of just letting him be. And he claims it was embarrassing to call Rhea Mommy. But now he's got a girl that calls him Daddy. She gives him tendies whenever he wants, referring to chicken tenders. Lets him play video games and lets him be him. And she did something Rhea can never do. Finally helped him beat his deadbeat dad. And then Rhea's like, you know, Dom, I'm actually proud of you. And watching you grow into the man you are today is one of her greatest accomplishments. He finally did something for himself, and he won gold. But when it comes to his dad, she wanted him to beat him on his own, so there'd be no excuse. And since he's making his own decisions like a man now, she should be proud of that too. But the problem is, it's going to be the last decision he ever makes. So Rhea's going to get her hands on Dirty Dom, one way or another. Liv starts taunting her with the sloppy seconds chants and says she take Doms anytime, and now she's taking everything from Rhea, her title, her man, and of course even her group. And Rhea says she's taken a lot of weak links from her, but she left her standing, and she's gonna have to destroy her to stop her from taking her down. And then Damian Priest just shows up behind them. It literally looked like Daddy watching over two kids, basically. And of course they realized it. And then Damian just grabbed Dom and just beat the piss out of him. And let me tell you something. both Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley are really getting over as a babyface. They are both on fire. This brawl around the arena as well was fire. Damian beat the crap out of Dom. And then Rhea tried to get a hold of Liv as well. But eventually Carlito cut off Damian Priest. And that's set up for Damian Priest to fight Carlito. Match was what it was, but obviously it just still kept the drama going. Damian Priest won the South of Heaven. Afterwards, though, here comes JD McDonough, who tags him from behind. And then Finn Balor and Dominic Mysterio join back in until Rhea Ripley comes back out again. I guess she went to the back and came back out. And Judgment Day scatter. JD eat a super kick meant for Finn Balor. Then a South of Heaven hit on JD. And then Damian and Rhea embrace, which Rhea now, when she used to have that little tattoo that said DM for Dominic, now it says TT for Terror Twins. That's what they're calling her and Damian right now. But then Dom went off the top rope, but then Damian guzzled him and threw him over to Rhea, and Rhea gets Dom set up to hit the Riptide on him. But of course, Liv Morgan comes out of nowhere and pulls Dom out and saves Dom. And then it was announced later that they're officially making a mixed tag match for Bash in Berlin. Damian and Rhea versus Dom and Liv, which, fine. I mean, I thought, they were going to maybe... I'm cool with that. It had to happen. Because obviously, you also want to tease Rhea getting her hands on Dom. And right now, the established duo is Damian and Rhea. So, yes, you could have thrown Finn in there as well, but Finn and Damian's a match you want to keep as a singles match. And I think they're keeping that one off till Bad Blood. So don't do too much here, but you can throw Dom in there because, Dom's the first one who kind of started this domino effect and whatnot. And of course, Rhea needs a woman to fight. Although, again, it's only a matter of time before they have Rhea Ripley start fighting men. So if you really want to have them be a tag team and actually fight for the tag titles, be my guest, because it believably can happen. But eventually, though, I do think we should be doing an intergender match, Rhea versus Dom. I mean, heck, maybe that could be a Bad Blood. That might be too soon. I'm sure Rhea and Liv are going to have another one-on-one match. We'll see, though. But a hot way to start off Raw. We have a backstage segment with Otis, Tozawa, and Maxime Dupree, which they're still being called Alpha Academy. I know Chad Gable told them last week they can keep Alpha Academy, but why are they still called Alpha Academy? Is Otis still, now the new one in charge of the Academy? Or I don't know. They're just like a little group. They're friends, yes, but I feel like they need to move past the name and bring their own thing in. Honestly, I'm dead serious when I say this. I would love it if they would bring back Tucker Knight and reunite Heavy Machinery. I don't know if they would. Has Tucky done anything since he left WWE? It would be cool. Again, you can keep Tozawa with him if you want, because again, I like Tozawa, but again, he's going to be nothing more than just a comedy act. That's going to, do positive things, but I don't see him winning championships or anything. And Maxine could be a great valet for Heavy Machinery. She already has great chemistry with Otis, or Otis. Or, of course, if you want to go back to, I did like when they were teasing Otis being a model with the Maximum Male Models. I could believably see Otis doing a model storyline if you want to. He's got the charisma. He's got the character. I can believe it. So I don't know if they're going to go a different route with them and rebrand them, but I think they should get away at least from the Alpha Academy name. But anyways, they were talking when Ivy Nile rolls up. And she chats with Maxine Dupree about leaving them to be with her and Chad. But Maxine said, I'm sticking with my family. And Ivy goes, I knew you'd say that. And I knew as soon as you said that Ivy Nile was turning heel later on in the night. Which we'll get to that in just a second. We had a VHS tape of the Wyatt, another Wyatt 6 VHS tape. Again, something that I will kind of knock Bray Wyatt with is, again, I think that, well, maybe it's because we didn't have the end result yet. it did kind of feel like when it was just Bray Wyatt when he first came back in 2022, that his promos were like leading to something, but it felt like it was dragging a little bit along. Now I know what the end result is. Like I feel like I could have appreciated those promos more, but I just feel like all these like VHS tape vignettes they did with the Wyatt 6, it does feel like they progress a little bit each week. Like this week, it felt like what was going on in the tape, but Bo Dallas was offering his life for you, and they actually showed vignettes of Bray Wyatt. To me, it kind of came across as like, you know, I hope we made you proud from last week, brother. Which was great with that. I'm assuming they're probably going to do another match with the Wyatt 6 and American Made, especially because now they officially have a woman in their group. Get to that shortly. We then had another thing I think I didn't even mention in the opener that I am intrigued in is what's going on with Odyssey Jones and the New Day, or Big O. Kevin Owens was briefly Big O in 2019 before they randomly turned him heel because they had Daniel Bryan injured to do their rematch at Money in the Bank. But yeah. Odyssey Jones comes out, squashes someone, and then afterwards out comes Final Testament, where Karrion Kross accuses Kofi of using Odyssey to replace Big E. And Woods tells them, nah, that ain't gonna work, and he wanted to fast forward to a point where they make a match. And Cody doesn't, and at first it was gonna be, I think Xavier just said it was gonna be just New Day versus Authors of Pain. But then Kofi suggests the idea of making a 6-man tag to include Odyssey Jones. And he'd be carrying Kross in as well for the Final Testament, which Kross accepts and says the devil's work is never done. You can tell, though, by the body language that this does kind of bother Xavier Woods. And again, I love the fact that they're finally teasing something different for the New Day. Again, this idea that maybe they could finally split up New Day. They may have found something to put a wedge between 10 years of brotherhood and whatnot. It's very apparent that Big E most likely is not going to come back. I still find that very sad because he had a lot more to offer on the table. Heck, I wonder how much better Big E's singles push would have been if Triple H would have been writing for him. I think he would have had a much better singles push. Been a lot more serious. Get back to the 5 gimmick that he had whenever he was a single star before New Day came along. But I think the ship has sailed before we're going to come back for Big E. And so far, I like what I see from Odyssey Jones. I think he's got a character. He has a purpose. He can wrestle pretty good too. Like I said, the only time I ever remember seeing Odyssey Jones when I saw a few matches he was in that 2021 NXT Breakout Star Tour. Because I think when he won was around the time I stopped watching. If I'm not mistaken. But yeah, this is another story I'm very interested in. Like I said, I think the thing is that I'm not quite as into it as I feel like I should. I like it, but I don't love it yet. It's because I'm afraid they're not going to go a different route with the New Day and just have Odyssey Jones and the New Day just run roughshod over Final Testament. And I don't want it to happen because I just want Karrion Kross and the Final Testament to finally get over. Because I feel like they're just right there, but just not quite. Come on. But we had that. Adam Pearce had a backstage run-in with Drew McIntyre. Pierce says Punk is having travel issues. He doesn't know he will not be here tonight, so there's no way he can help Drew. McIntyre says, I don't care about Punk, but I want to know, why is Randy Orton challenging for the title? And Drew promises to be on his best behavior tonight, Scout's honor, which, again, Adam Pearce addresses because there's kind of unfinished business with Gunther and Randy Orton from King of the Ring. Which, again, makes sense. But, of course, obviously, he has something else in mind. We then have Alpha Academy taking on American Made. Chad Gable was not there on the show. Apparently he is in Paris for the Olympics. Cut a nice promo. And again, I am digging this name for their stable, American Made. Match was good. It was a tornado tag match. It was pretty energetic and whatnot. But then the match ended because out of nowhere came Ivy Nile and attacked Maxine Dupree. She had Maxine in like a chokehold on the announce desks, distracting Otis, and the Creed brothers took advantage of that and did like a roll up on Akira Tozawa to get the victory. So Ivy Nile is officially a heel now. She officially joins American Made. We'll go from there. I like it. Having again, the Creed brothers and Ivy Nile, well, formerly part of Roderick Strong's stable, Diamond Mine, in NXT. I feel this heel turn was necessary for all three of them. They're great in the ring, but needed time to develop characters. And I feel like they will, and I feel like they're a great fit with this new stable with Chad Gable, who again is just really embracing this heel role and just really embracing this like Kurt Angle-esque type, persona that he has finally been able to personify, for sure. I love this interview with Pete Dunne. So Pete Dunne was being interviewed. He was sitting in like the empty audience with Jackie Redmond before the show started. And, went a little too far in my notes there. Basically, he was asked, what's going on with him and Sheamus? And he mentioned that he was never under Sheamus's wing. And it's him that elevated Sheamus. What did they get him? A terrible nickname in a front row seat at the Sheamus show. And also, what happened to Ridge? Where is he? Which also, apparently Ridge Holland just won the NXT tag titles and he's a part of Chase U now. I thought he was doing something with Shawn Spears. I don't know, but I don't watch NXT. But anyways, he also took exception to Jackie Redmond bringing up Butch. He goes, don't call me Butch. I hate Butch. I'm the Bruiserweight. Pete Dunne, an 18-year vet in his own right, and he never wants to hear that name again. None of us ever do. Thinking of this made us think whenever the New Day would dash up with this on Old Day, go, we don't want to talk about Old Day. Old Day's dead and whatnot. But yeah, I love that Pete Dunne just like savagely just was just like, don't call me Butch. I hate that name. I'm definitely seeing a lot of character traits he had when he was a heel, when he was in the first NXT UK Championship tournament. I'm seeing that, like I said, the last time he was a heel, again, he felt like a placeholder. But now, like, this character, like, his reactions, like, I'm just like, this is what it is. I'm pretty sure this is the Pete Dunne we were going to get in 2022. Because rumors were, that was one of the first things Triple H was going to do, is make him Pete Dunne again. But again, he kept him at Butch, kept the Brawling Brutes together, because there was actually a direction for them at the time. Which, again, Triple H likes to make things make sense. He likes to, be continuous and keep continuity going. I respect that. But I'm glad to see we're getting the Bruiserweight back. And I can't wait to see what he does. And he has a match with Sheamus next week, which should be pretty awesome. Bronson Reed was in a meeting with Adam Pearce about his attack on Seth Rollins last week, which Seth Rollins is apparently taking a little bit of time off again. They could be saving Bronson and Seth for Bad Blood, which would make sense. But obviously, I feel like at this point, you could do a feud with him and Bronson Reed. You could maybe slide in a match with him and Gunther. But I think right now, they're just resting Seth up to get him ready for when he feuds with Punk for WrestleMania. But anyways, Adam Pearce, Bronson demands an opponent tonight. And then he says, you better find one before he picks his next victim. And then also, this is probably like the lowest point of the show. The stuff with Damage Control and Sonya Deville and her crew, Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark. Well, first, they each kind of have their own, like, backstage promos, like, hyping each other up. Damage Control was also with just Io Sky and Kairi Sane. Dakota Kai was not there selling the knee injury she got from last week. And then Sonya Deville and her crew kind of promo about how Damage Control is done. And then they're getting ready for a tag match for the number one contendership for the women's tag title. An Unholy Union were out there watching them at ringside. So, Sonya Deville's stable of her, Shayna, and Zoe is officially called the Pure Fusion Collective. I don't know. It's something. Like I said, this group is something. It's just still taking a little time to grow on me. I think it could work because they all three of them have like MMA styles to them and whatnot, which I think is a good mix. First off, again, I hate Sonya Deville's new finisher. Again, to me, it just looks like the one whenever Braun Strowman just like lays you on your back and does like that clubbing blow to your sternum. It's the same exact thing, but my thing is, if Braun Strowman can't be putting someone away with that move, how can someone like Sonya Deville? And then Damage Control, I'm not calling them faces yet. I'm more so calling them like the pseudo faces in this feud they're doing with the Pure Fusion Collective, because they have no reason to be baby faces right now. There's nothing transitioning them to being liked, in my opinion. So it's just like a very awkward situation. And then the match happened, and then just for no reason, Unholy Union just interfere and attack them, causing a DQ just to set up a triple threat match for next week. When I saw that, I was like, what was the point of this then? Like, this made me think of like the days of like we would get like millions of DQ finishes. My cat's walking on me right now. Millions of like DQ finishes in like the Vince McMahon era, and I was just kind of just like, okay, like this isn't. I don't know. It kind of had like a flat ending to it. But we're getting a triple threat match next week. We'll see where it goes. Like I said, honestly, I kind of want the belts off of Unholy Union. Again, I like Isle of Fire, with Kaylee Ray, and Isle of Dawn. But again, they're doing nothing with them interesting at all whatsoever. They've barely been on TV. Before they were champions, and even as champions, they're barely doing anything. Again, I get why you wanted to give someone in Scotland who's from there a moment, but why did you pick them when they're barely on TV? I don't get that. And again, this stuff again with Damage Control and Pure Fusion Collective, like I just said, like it's just a weird combo. I don't know, but we had that, which in a DQ. Then Miz is backstage, and R-Truth confronts him and tells him he got him an IC title match against Bron. And then Miz is ecstatic, but then he sees the graphic, and R-Truth screws up. He has a match. He was picked as Bronson Reed's opponent for tonight, which of course Miz doesn't approve of, and I think they're slowly teasing a heel turn from Miz. Okay, again, Miz is definitely better as a heel. This face runs okay. Again, Awesome Truth is like a nostalgia act, I feel like, too. It was an excuse also to give R-Truth a WrestleMania moment with tag titles, get his comeuppance against the Judgment Day. So I understand that. But even if Miz does turn heel again, what is there for him to do that could really help him elevate someone? Like the last feud I can say he had as a heel that his heel persona was very useful to put someone over was when he feuded with LA Knight last year. Other than that, like, what else is there for him to do as a heel? I don't know. Let's see. Randy Orton then rolls up while they're talking, and he lists off all of Miz's accolades and like pumps him up for his match. Before though they had the match, Randy Orton went out to cut a promo with Gunther. And my computer just went weird for a second. Hold on, sorry. Come on. Stop it. Here we go. So Orton came out and mentioned how 20 years ago, he won the world title for the very first time and became the youngest world champion ever. In a few short weeks at Bash in Berlin, he plans on becoming a 15-time world champion. Out came Gunther. Orton tells us to remember this atmosphere because in a few short weeks, he's going to beat this guy, and then his Friday nights won't be free anymore because Monday Night Raw will be his new home. The ring general agrees that the moment should be memorized, talking about Orton's wasted potential. This is the era of the ring general. In this era, there is no room for wasted potential. And Orton will have no further role to play. Orton then reintroduces himself as unpredictable, violent, and the successful star in the history of the game. Gunther disagrees in that he's actually very predictable and predicts a few things. He's going to give him the beating of a lifetime in Berlin. Because of that, Randy will never be champion again. It comes naturally to Randy because his grandfather and father were both screw-ups, and he is no different because he is the biggest screw-up of them all, which obviously got under the skin of Gunther. And then Drew McIntyre comes out, teased that he's going to get back in the world title picture. Ha 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 ha. Well, first, off the distraction from that, Randy Orton hits the RKO on Gunther. And then CM Punk, who apparently had travel issues, came out of nowhere and beat down on Drew McIntyre. And then he even took his belt off, and they basically had whipping each other a little bit with Drew McIntyre's belt. And I'm guessing they're setting up, if they do a match at Bash in Berlin, I'm assuming they're setting up for a strap match. Which, okay, a little bit more, with the stipulation. I'm cool with that. A strap match. Hell in a Cell, though, has to happen at Bad Blood between these two. But, strap match, cool with me. I like that. Sheamus was backstage talking about Pete Dunne. And why doesn't understand that Dunne has so much beef and blames him for falling off the radar. But the ironic thing is now, he's making himself relevant again off of who? Sheamus. And then Ludwig Kaiser rolls up the chat. And Pete Dunne then blindsides Sheamus again with the shillelagh. He cracked the wood across his hand and maybe broke it, of course, as well. So a nice little beat down there. And that's set up for their match next week, Sheamus and Pete Dunne. CM Punk was backstage. Until he ran into an interviewer. He comes to a little white lie about being delayed in traveling because he wants to get his hands on Drew McIntyre. He can keep the bracelet, but he needs to keep his wife and dog's name, though, out of his mouth. He's glad he came to Austin tonight, and it's not going to stop until he gets his hands on Drew McIntyre. He then waves a bell around, so he thinks he's found a way to make everybody happy. Once again, teasing the strap match. Also, because he's no longer with AEW, we saw Mark Henry and his son Jacob in the crowd. Because they're from, Silsbee, Texas? They're from somewhere in Texas. But yeah, they were in the crowd too. And of course, since he's not in AEW anymore, they can acknowledge him. Bronson Reed then took on The Miz. He squashed The Miz pretty much. And afterwards, R-Truth took a few tsunamis as well. Basically, almost repeating the same thing from last week on Seth Rollins, except this time on Miz and R-Truth. So, they were doomed, of course. And then it looks like the last thing... Yeah, the last thing was Sami Zayn taking on Bron Breakker in a 2 out of 3 falls match for IC title. Match was good. I like how... Bron won 2 falls out of 3, but Sami did win the first fall. It was kind of like that thing where... I guess I kind of appreciate that, although Braun is dominant, they have this thing where, they kind of still, remind us, hey, he's still a rookie. He's still learning. There's still more to come. Because Sami Zayn just sneaks in that one haluva kick, and it took out Braun. But then after that, Braun just went ballistic. My favorite spot in the match was when he did that lawn dart on Sami, tossing him over the barricade and into the timekeeper's area. That was definitely vicious. The Avalanche Frankensteiner as well is awesome. And then he had snuck in a few spears, and he was able to hit the 2 spears on Sami. Sami had a nice little comeback there before the third fall, but Braun Breaker was able to retain, and I guess that's it for him and Sami. Don't know what's next for both of them. Well, Sami Zayn, I think, is going to be going after the tag titles with Jey Uso. And I still think that's going to be a way to help both Jey and Sami get into the War Games match with Roman, Jimmy, I'm still going to say The Rock. Because I'm still going to say Hikuleo comes in and joins the new bloodline. And also, by the way, I did read somewhere that Jacob Fatu is okay. They're just going to keep him out for the rest of the month just to rest him up, just to be safe. But Jacob Fatu, thank goodness, is okay from that shin bump he took at SummerSlam. But yeah, that starts there. Braun, I don't know who he wrestles next. Braun Strowman? I don't know, that's a little too soon. Him and Sheamus would have a good match. Well, maybe him and Ilya? I don't know, we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, again, great stuff. Raw, another great episode. Again, gave it an A-. Couple little nitpicks in there I had. There's a fuck in my face, get out of the way. Like I said, the weakest stuff for sure is the stuff with the women. Like I said, the stuff with Damage Control and the Pure Fusion Collective, I'm just like, it's just weird. Again, especially since Damage Control just has no excuse to me right now to be cheered. I mean, yes, Io Sky and Kairi Sane and Dakota Kai are awesome talents, but they have no story to being liked. I don't know. It's just a weird situation. But that's Raw, guys. I gave it an A-. What are your guys' thoughts on Raw this week? Again, we will be doing a turn alert on Ivy Nile, and we'll also be doing a SmackDown review. Maybe all of them tonight, who knows? We'll have to wait and see. But what are your guys' thoughts on this week's episode of Raw? Leave your guys' thoughts down in the comments section below. Be sure also, as always, to slap a like on the video and subscribe for more content to come to my channel. Follow me on Twitter as well at the Club of the Man 93. You may also follow me on TikTok and Instagram at the Club of the Man 1993. And as always, guys, I'm checking out. I'll catch you guys all later. Have a great rest of your night, and do not forget, in order to be superior to the man, you've got to be the man. And for I am the man himself. And that is not just an opinion, my friends. That is a fact of life. Yeah!